How to talk in English. Alex often felt a peculiar ache, a silent frustration residing deep within his chest. He could effortlessly absorb complex English dialogues, effortlessly navigate intricate plotlines in foreign films, and comprehend nuanced British accents with surprising ease. Yet, when faced with the simple task of uttering a coherent sentence, his tongue would stubbornly knot. His mind would blank, leaving him speechless and utterly deflated in every social interaction. The constant fear of making grammatical blunders, mispronouncing words, or using incorrect idioms plagued his every attempt at communication. He'd replay imagined conversations, meticulously correcting his non-existent errors, a futile exercise that only amplified his anxiety. This internal monologue, a relentless critic, whispered warnings, reminding him of past embarrassing moments, convincing him that true fluency was an unattainable mirage. He longed to engage in spontaneous discussions, to share his thoughts, and truly connect with the diverse array of people he encountered daily, especially those who spoke English. Imagine the rich conversations, the shared laughter, the unique perspectives he was missing out on, simply because his spoken English remained stubbornly locked away behind an invisible, impenetrable barrier. This yearning for genuine connection fueled his silent frustration. He understood the meaning of learn English, had devoured countless textbooks, and spent hours listening to podcasts. His vocabulary was extensive, his reading comprehension exceptional. However, the bridge between understanding and speaking seemed perpetually broken, a chasm too wide to cross. "I understand English, but I can't speak well," he would sadly confide to his reflection, the words hanging heavy in the air. One dreary afternoon, scrolling through endless online language forums, a phrase caught his eye: English study plane for talking. It wasn't a physical plane, but a carefully structured plan, promising a systematic approach to verbal fluency. Intrigued, Alex clicked, hoping this might be the breakthrough he desperately needed, a new trajectory for his linguistic aspirations. The plan emphasized that how to talk in English wasn't about perfection, but about participation. It highlighted the importance of immersion, even if simulated, and encouraged breaking down the mental barriers that prevented natural conversation. This philosophy immediately resonated with Alex, who had always focused too much on flawless output rather than simply engaging with the language. A key component was learn English through stories. The idea was to absorb language in context, not as isolated grammar rules or vocabulary lists. Engaging narratives full of emotion and relatable characters promised to make the learning process enjoyable and memorable. Alex decided to try this novel approach, seeking out gripping tales from British literature and contemporary fiction. He started with classic British detective stories, their intricate plots and witty dialogues captivating his imagination. As he read, he would quietly repeat phrases, mimicking the intonation he imagined. This wasn't rote memorization. It was an organic absorption of sentence structures and idiomatic expressions, allowing the language to sink into his subconscious mind. The stories, rich with British colloquialisms, also helped him understand the nuances of let's talk in British English. He discovered the charm of phrases like brilliant, quite good, and the subtle differences in pronunciation that distinguish British from other English accents. This new focus gave his studies a clear direction and a delightful cultural dimension. He began recording himself reading short passages from these stories, listening back with a critical yet forgiving ear. It was initially painful to hear his stilted delivery, the awkward pauses, and the occasional mispronunciations. Yet, this self-assessment was crucial, providing clear targets for improvement without the pressure of an audience. The study plan then urged him to speak with people. This was the terrifying part. Alex had always avoided real-time conversations, fearing judgment. The plan suggested starting small. Talk to himself in English, narrate his daily activities, even converse with his pet cat, treating it like a patient listener, a true linguistic confidant. His first external step was joining an online language exchange group, specifically one focused on British English speakers. The initial video calls were agonizing. His heart pounded, his palms sweated, and his mind raced for words that simply wouldn't materialize. He felt like he was back at square one, making all the familiar mistakes. One particular exchange partner, an elderly gentleman named Arthur from Manchester, possessed an incredible patience. Arthur never corrected him directly but would gently rephrase Alex's clumsy sentences, subtly demonstrating the correct usage. This kind approach reduced Alex's anxiety, making him feel less judged and more encouraged to continue speaking. Arthur also encouraged Alex to talk with anyone, emphasizing that every conversation was a learning opportunity, regardless of the topic or the interlocutor. He encouraged Alex to embrace imperfections as part of the natural learning process, stating that mistakes were merely stepping stones, not stumbling blocks, on the path to fluency. Alex began visiting local tourist spots, offering to help visitors with directions, or simply making small talk about the weather. These brief, low-stakes interactions were perfect for practicing. He stumbled, he fumbled, but crucially he kept going. Each tiny conversation chipped away at his formidable speaking anxiety. He found himself using expressions from the stories he read. When describing a beautiful park, he might unconsciously use a phrase like "absolutely stunning" that he picked up from a travelogue. This organic integration of learned vocabulary into spontaneous speech was a significant milestone, a true indicator of progress. The study plan introduced the concept of a mistake journal. Instead of dwelling on errors, Alex would jot them down, analyze why they happened, and then practice the correct form. This transformed "why I always make mistakes" from a crippling self-criticism into a practical learning tool, a roadmap for improvement. He started noticing patterns in his errors: incorrect prepositions, awkward sentence structures, the tendency to translate directly from his native language. By systematically addressing these recurring issues, he began to see a tangible reduction in his mistakes, a satisfying improvement in his overall linguistic accuracy. One evening, while talking to Arthur, Alex recounted a particularly amusing incident from his day. For the first time, the words flowed relatively freely. He wasn't translating in his head. He was thinking in English, forming sentences without conscious effort. It was a fleeting moment, but a powerful glimpse of what fluency felt like. This small victory ignited a new spark within him. He realized that how to improve your English wasn't about finding a magic bullet, but about consistent, multifaceted effort. It was about reading, listening, practicing, and most importantly, embracing the entire messy, glorious process of language acquisition. He diversified his listening habits, tuning into British radio dramas and documentaries. The natural speed and varied accents challenged him, pushing his comprehension skills to new heights. He would often replay sections, trying to grasp unfamiliar phrases, expanding his understanding of spoken English in real-world contexts. The fear of awkward silences gradually diminished. He learned to use filler words like, right, or naturally, giving himself a moment to compose his thoughts without panicking. These small, authentic linguistic tools made his speech sound more natural and less strained, enhancing his conversational flow. He discovered that authentic communication wasn't just about perfect grammar. It was about conveying meaning, expressing emotions, and connecting with the other person. People were generally forgiving of errors, appreciating the effort more than the flawless delivery, which was a huge revelation for Alex. His confidence began to soar. He started initiating conversations, no longer waiting to be spoken to. He would ask shopkeepers about products, chat with baristas about coffee, and even engage in light banter with strangers on public transport, something he would have considered impossible just months ago. One sunny morning, he found himself explaining intricate details of his hobby to a curious tourist at a local museum. He spoke for several minutes, elaborating, answering questions, and even cracking a small joke. When the conversation ended, he felt a profound sense of accomplishment, a quiet triumph in his linguistic journey. The tourist, a kindly woman from Scotland, smiled warmly. "Your English is very good," she complimented genuinely. Alex's heart swelled. It wasn't perfect, he knew, but for the first time, he truly believed her, internalizing the positive feedback rather than dismissing it as polite flattery. He reflected on his journey, from the silent observer, paralyzed by fear, to a confident communicator. The English study plan had provided the structure. The Learn English Through Stories had provided the enjoyment, and the courage to talk with anyone had provided the essential practice. He understood now that why I always make mistakes was the wrong question. The right question was, how can I learn from my mistakes? Each error became a lesson, each stumble a step forward. The path to fluency wasn't straight, but a winding road filled with valuable experiences. His understanding of how to talk in English had completely transformed. It wasn't about memorizing phrases. It was about developing a comfort level with the language, allowing ideas to flow freely from his mind to his mouth without the burden of self-consciousness or internal censorship slowing him down. He often reminisced about the initial despair, the frustration of feeling trapped by his inability to speak. Now those memories served as a stark contrast to his present reality, a reminder of how far he had come, a testament to his perseverance and unwavering dedication to his goal. He began helping other language learners online, sharing his experiences and strategies. He emphasized the power of consistent small steps, the importance of celebrating minor victories, and the absolute necessity of speaking, even when it felt awkward or daunting to articulate thoughts aloud. He shared stories of his own blunders, making them humorous anecdotes rather than sources of shame. This open approach encouraged others to embrace their own imperfections, fostering a supportive community where learning from mistakes was celebrated rather than feared, creating a positive learning environment. Alex found immense joy in connecting with people from diverse backgrounds, understanding their cultures, and sharing his own through the medium of English. The world felt much larger, more accessible, and infinitely more interesting now that he could communicate without reservation, truly engaging with others. He no longer obsessed over sounding perfectly British, but embraced his own unique accent, infusing it with the intonation and vocabulary he had absorbed. Authenticity became more important than mimicry, allowing his natural personality to shine through in his spoken English, making him more relatable. The narrative of his life had shifted dramatically. From a quiet observer, Alex had transformed into an active participant, a storyteller, and a confident voice. He proved that even with persistent struggles, the desire to learn and connect could overcome any linguistic barrier, achieving remarkable personal growth. His fluency wasn't just about words, it was about freedom. Freedom to express himself, freedom to understand others deeply, and freedom to navigate new environments with ease. This newfound linguistic liberation permeated every aspect of his life, boosting his overall self-esteem and general well-being. The English study plane had landed him successfully at the destination of confident communication. It wasn't a quick flight, but a journey filled with self-discovery, resilience, and the joy of incremental progress. Each step of the way had been valuable, contributing to his ultimate success. He learned that how to speak with people ultimately boiled down to active listening and genuine curiosity. When he truly listened to others, he not only understood them better, but also found it easier to formulate his own responses, creating a natural ebb and flow in conversations. His advice to anyone struggling was always the same. Start speaking today. Don't wait for perfection. Engage with the language, make mistakes, learn from them, and keep going. Consistency is your greatest ally, and courage is your most powerful tool in this linguistic adventure. He advocated for learning styles that felt natural and enjoyable. If stories captivated you, then immerse yourself in them. If songs moved you, sing along. The key was to make the learning process engaging, sustainable, and something you looked forward to rather than dreaded each day. He often recounted Arthur's gentle wisdom. Every mistake is just a practice for getting it right next time. This mantra became Alex's guiding principle, transforming his fear of failure into an eagerness to learn, a desire to improve with every single attempt at communication. The sense of accomplishment from having conquered his fear was immeasurable. He had faced his greatest linguistic challenge head-on and emerged victorious, proving to himself that he was capable of achieving what once seemed utterly impossible to his former timid self, filled with self-doubt. His journey was a living testament to the fact that understanding English is merely the first step. True mastery lies in the ability to articulate your thoughts, to share your world, and to connect with others through the spoken word, creating deeper and more meaningful interactions. He now regularly engaged in lively debates, participated in group discussions, and even delivered presentations in English with a calm demeanor and clear articulation. The nervous stammer was gone, replaced by a confident, steady voice that commanded attention naturally. Alex's transformation inspired many. He became a beacon of hope for aspiring English speakers, demonstrating that fluency is within reach for anyone willing to commit to the process, to embrace vulnerability, and to persevere through the inevitable challenges of language acquisition. He sometimes smiled to himself, remembering the days he would painstakingly choose each word, terrified of judgment. Now conversations flowed effortlessly, a natural extension of his thoughts, unburdened by the previous mental censorship and self-imposed limitations. The joy of effortlessly communicating complex ideas, of truly understanding and being understood, was a reward far greater than any academic achievement. It was a profound personal liberation, opening up a world of possibilities and connections he previously only dreamed of experiencing. He understood that fluency wasn't about eradicating accents or achieving native-like pronunciation. It was about effective communication, about expressing oneself clearly and confidently, allowing personality and ideas to shine through, making every interaction genuine and meaningful. Alex knew his English journey would continue, with new words to learn and new nuances to master. But the fear was gone. The path ahead was exciting, a continuous exploration of language and culture, a lifelong adventure that he now wholeheartedly embraced with enthusiasm. His experience underscored a crucial lesson. The learning process is as important as the outcome. The struggles, the small victories, the mistakes, and the perseverance all contributed to a deeper understanding of himself and the language he now wielded so confidently. He often shared his story on online platforms, attracting thousands who resonated with his initial struggles. His advice resonated because it came from a place of genuine experience, offering practical, empathetic guidance to those still navigating their own linguistic challenges. Many aspiring learners reached out, thanking him for his candidness and his actionable tips. They found comfort in knowing that "why I always make mistakes" was a universal experience, not a personal failing, and that overcoming it was absolutely achievable with dedication. His story became a blueprint for others. They emulated his consistency, adopted his mistake journal, and dared to talk with anyone they encountered. The ripple effect of his journey was immense, creating a community of brave, persistent English learners worldwide. The ability to speak English had unlocked not just career opportunities, but also personal growth and a broader worldview. He could travel more confidently, engage with international news, and appreciate global art forms in their original contexts, enriching his life immensely. He learned that true fluency isn't just about grammar and vocabulary. It's about cultural understanding, about empathy, and about the willingness to connect beyond linguistic barriers, fostering genuine human bonds across diverse backgrounds. His British English, once a specific goal, had become a natural part of his identity, a testament to his dedication and a bridge to new friendships and experiences. He wore his linguistic achievements with humble pride, always eager to learn and grow further. Alex's story served as a powerful reminder that while understanding is fundamental, speaking is the ultimate expression of language mastery. It transforms passive knowledge into active communication, truly bringing language to life in a dynamic, interactive way. He often concluded his talks with a simple, yet profound message: your voice matters. Don't let fear silence it. Embrace the journey, make noise, and let your English-speaking power shine brightly for the world to hear and appreciate. And so, Alex, once a silent observer, became a vibrant communicator, his journey a powerful narrative of overcoming linguistic barriers. His story is a testament to the fact that anyone can learn to speak English confidently, connecting with the world, one brave conversation at a time.